because I don't think it's just been me. I think there's usually one other player, and other than me. Oh, he left, so I guess that's going to be it. Alright, so spawning in the northeast spawning position, we have our yellow Protoss, and his name is Crane. And spawning in the southwest spawning position, we have Gow from Team Gamania. Gamma, as they are so lovingly known. So this is GSL's Daybreak. It's absolutely probably my favorite map in the entire game. It's so awesome. The attack paths are all so interesting. These Zelnaga Watch Towers change the dynamics of this game so much. If you have both of those, every attack path is covered, and that changes the game, changes exactly what your opponent's going to do and what they're able to do. Of course, PvP, you're not going to see that come into play so much, especially with any 4-gate wars that come out. You know, I have to wonder if last game Crane had any idea that Robo was if Crane had any idea that Robo was going to be proxied. You know, I don't know. I mean, he got that unit in. He got his probe in. He saw that it was that there was 2 gases going down. But he had to know something was fishy, so I'm not sure he planned for the Robo. You know, what do you do in that situation? Like, that's the ultimate mind game. Had he seen 2 and knew that it was fishy, then that puts him in a position where he thinks that his opponent's 4-gating. If he sees 2 and thinks that it's for real, then he thinks his opponent's probably going like for a Robo build, but definitely not for 4 gates. So it's just so hard to read in that kind of situation, especially with that scout, that second scout not being able to get in at all. I mean, he saw the Chrono Boost saved up. It didn't really look like Gow thought that he's going to let his opponent's probe in. He really did a really nice job of moving that Zealot, but he just didn't do well enough. He wasn't actually able to kill it. So who knows? Who knows what would happen if that Robo got scouted? You know, maybe those units would have been further back, but he even did such a nice job of warping in first and then bringing these units in, so that his second warp in was came earlier, and he ended up having 8 Zealots in his opponent's base, and once those 8 Zealots were down, I mean, there's nothing that you could do in that situation if units are getting warped into your mineral line, not even just into your base, not even just into your main, into your mineral line. So let's check out what these players are doing. We have Gow throwing down his second gas. Oh, actually, yeah, a gas deal coming out for Crane. I was wondering why I saw those 2 gases. That made me a little bit worried for a second. So Crane trying to force his opponent into a 4-gate again and kind of trying to deny that Robo, coming down in time, whereas Crane's going to be able to have both of his gases. Really what this means is that if he can force Gow into a 4-gate, he's going to be really safe and be able to fend it off, because he's going to be able to get sentries out and force field this ramp. He can even go for any sort of stalker build to be able to get the stalkers out on the map and scatter around for proxy pylons. And here we go. Is this probe going to come over here? I don't really know where this probe's going. Does he see anything? He had to have spotted it. Oh no, Crane. Yes, there we go. Sees nothing up there. Oh, yes, finally, Crane. Oh, God. Tell me he saw it. Oh, thank God he did. All right. I thought he was in the smoke. I got worried for a moment. I wasn't just totally certain. So he did see it. He knows what's coming. He throws down his own Robo in response. He's going to be able to get a couple gates down if he'd like to after this, but only 15 seconds before that warp gate's going to finish for his opponent. He throws down 1 gateway. He really needs to get a sentry out. It is on the way, and I don't know if he's chrono boosting. It doesn't look like he's chrono boosting it out. He has chrono boost to spare. I'm surprised he's not chrono boosting anything at all. In fact, Crane actually walling off his main base. We have 2 Zealots on the way, a probe coming up. If this probe can get a pylon down up here, or is he gonna? No, not gonna be able to. See what's going on in his opponent's base more than anything. I don't know if I like this wall off, because the wall off isn't really going to be that huge of a deal, especially if there's a warp prism around. If these units can come forward and pull some units out of the way, that means that there's going to be pressure on the front, and that's going to stop the units back here from doing that well. And if he's able to get the yeah, here we go, see? Working away at that pylon, and once those units get in there, I would actually hope that there would be a probe out here. We're putting that over here. The warp prism comes in, drops some units, but really nice force field, blocking off all the Zealots from doing any damage. A ton of probes being pulled to try to kill that sentry. He is able to get it down. Zealot's trying to get into that mineral line, going to be unable to do that as of yet. Here we go, more warp prisms coming in. That warp prism did go down. A second one on the way. Probe was being pulled to try to do everything, but they really were just trying to delay to get that Immortal out. The Immortal does come out, and that's got to be it for Gow. He's going to try to put on a pressure for a second time, but the fact that this Immortal out changes everything. Oh, don't move out of your base, Crane. That's the worst thing that you can do right now. He wanted to scout to see if there's a pylon down here for any warp-ins. Of course, there isn't. He had to make this pylon out on this side, and he had to all that money to invest in that warp prism. Another pylon out on the base might not be such a great idea. Here comes the second round of units, the second warp prism. Probes being pulled, a ton of zealots inside of the main. Ooh, that Immortal needs to get pulled back. It does get pulled back in time, and SCVs. No, that Immortal's stuck in this really, really crappy position. A ton of probes being pulled from the mineral lines, but no more mining being done. He really needs to get those probes back. That force field is really blocking them from doing anything at all. Finally getting us around, but that's going to allow for even more time, mining time to be denied. Of course, Gow getting that warp prism out of there once he realized that there are too many stalkers to deal with, and that's going to put Gow pretty far behind. At what point did he cut probes? That's the big question. He's at 20. His opponent's at 26. He has that robo out, but it's proxied, which means that it might not be that effective, especially if a couple units go down there to try to kill it. We see Crane rather transitioning out of this by grabbing a Twilight Council. I think that's a fair build. You know, he doesn't want to risk too much by trying to expand right now. You can't really expand in PvP at this point, even if you're as far ahead as Crane is. You can't invest that much money into something that aren't army units. Gow, on the other hand, because he's behind, really wants to try to get his economy up and rolling, and he feels like because he has that warp prism, he's in a position to actually expand. Crane should consider canceling this. Actually, can 3 sentries and a zealot out DPS it? Yeah, they can. They can out DPS it. Crane warping in a couple of units. Excuse me, I coughed a little bit, had to mute myself. Crane does warp in a couple of units to deny that. He has units in his base so that he can defend against any warp prism play that comes in from here on out. We see him with his own pylon, his own forward pylon, so that he can warp in. This warp prism being used to its fullest extent. Man, Gow is really committed to using that warp prism. With both players on to base, they're both going to be in a position to make two probes at a time, so really, Crane isn't in a position to lose his economic lead. If Gow, even if Gow continues making probes, he's not going to be able to catch up because his opponent will just continue making them as well. That blink is going to make a huge difference. Gow going for that robotics support bait instead. The question is, will Crane be given the opportunity to blink forward and try to deal with that? Oh, here we go. He cannot lose that warp prism. That is unfortunate. And actually, I would love to see Crane come out here and try to get rid of this robotics facility, because there is nothing back here. There's no robotics facility back here. So if he were to take that out, Colossi would be well away. That would give him a huge window to do any attack. In fact, he is moving towards that. The Colossi are going to be unable to do anything. It was scouted. Oh, the warp prism moving away. Crane continues on his way. He knows what he needs to do. He's going to be able to take that out. Another robotics facility on the way coming out from Gow, but when it comes down to it, that's not really going to be that effective, as those Colossi are going to be so far away. Robotics facility goes down, and the pylon does go down as well. And a pylon for Crane coming forward, so he's putting on the aggression very hardcore. He does have that warp gate done, as this is PvP. And any Protoss knows that warp gate's going to be done around 5:45. So Crane putting on the pressure. Now 57 supply to almost 80 supply. Another pylon going down. These rocks are going to get killed so that Crane has some area to deal with, so that he's not stuck in a little bit of a very small choke on this ramp. Now Crane does have this observer up here, which means he's going to be able to deal damage from the low ground without any problem whatsoever. Gow at this point has no idea. He was unable to get that observer out, any observer that he wanted. So if he's firing from the low ground, now Gow knows exactly what's going on. He doesn't want to waste any time getting an observer out. He just, oh, look at this. Stalker's blinking on the side to try to that mineral line, they're going to be able to kill a bunch of these, pulling the entire army back. Crane just going to walk through those force fields that were imperfectly placed, and now throwing down his own force fields in some attempt to keep the army exactly where it is. These Blink Stalkers are going to be able to deal a ton of damage, blinking in front, and Gow knows that that's going to be it for him. So, Crane able to take that game.